Alright, so this is basically day 3. Took the car apart one day, and day 2 I spent a couple hours to kind of see what everything was going to look like. I got a new dual pass universal radiator from Speedway. I'll show you what I just got finished up with. It's funny how long all this stuff takes. So this is I'm going to try to Ford, the old Ford fan, the old Ford Taurus fan. But these are the brackets I made. That's what the top brackets look like. Then I kind of cut as much as I could off the shroud and then put a little vacuum hose around the edge. So, because I guess the biggest deal with all this stuff is vibration. You want to vibrate a hole through your radiator. This was also modified. I cut all this up. It was just straight across like this and like a little square. And this stuck up. On this car, you fight for fractions of an inch everywhere. So I cut this up, and buddy Edgar welded it back up for me. And I thought I was going to be able to cut the shroud more, but the motor sticks out pretty far past the blades. So it's pretty close. I'm not really trying to go any closer than that. So at this point, I can actually move the radiator around, which is nice. I'm really going to start working on getting it in the car. I don't have much height. This radiator is pretty tall, and the hood comes down rather quickly. And it's going to be right up against the hood. I mean, it really will be. I'm trying not to relocate the transmission cooler. So I'll have to have the intercooler, transmission cooler, then a condenser, and then the radiator, and then the fan. And then I'm gonna have to put a down pipe through here as well as the crossover pipe. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff right there. I'm fighting for fractions of an inch everywhere. That's the update so far. Get this radiator mounted. Into day 3. Didn't get a whole lot done, but I looked at it for a while. Since I'm kind of curious on how all this is gonna work. I think I have it figured out pretty well, I hope. So I finished my radiator, of course, and I'm working on this. Normally the bar that held the radiator was going to be in the way of where the new radiator is. So I cut the ends off, and I made some plates. Did some pretty bad welding. It's not done, but it's on there. And that's what that's going to look like. It does hang down a ½ inch lower than the original tow hooks. So what I want to do is, I want to make a crash bar that mounts off the frame. Then I'll have a nice area. Although the body kit hangs down far lower than the tow hooks, and I've never hit it on anything. So I should be fine, but I'll make something nice for it. We're already at the end of day 4. Might not look like much has happened, but I had to figure out a lot of things. So I finally got the kind of the lower radiator mount stuff done. So the radiator is there on its own accord at this point. I spent about 3 hours trying to decide if I was going to be able to fit the intercooler, transcooler, AC condenser, and radiator all in the front. I decided that I'll in fact not be able to fit the transmission cooler, so I'm going to remote mount that. The bracket is done, which I showed you I think already, for the fan to the radiator. And I actually started building the hot side. So that's coming along. Let me show you a better look. Here's the hot side coming together. Here's the other side. It's hard to see, but it is looking pretty okay. So I need a merge to happen right here. This needs to come over and then merge to this, which I thought I was going to have this flare to a 3-inch like it is here, and then have a 3-inch all the way up and have this other side come over and then kind of come up and then flare into it. But I think I actually need to make a proper merge, because if I do it the way I was thinking, the merge will happen a few inches above, And I really need this space right here to put a wastegate. So I need the merge to happen as soon as possible so I can put a wastegate. Because the further up I put the wastegate, the further up the turbo is going to sit in the air. So I think I'm going to work on a merge later today. But anyways, it sits up there high enough. I mean, the bumper sits lower than everything. Small update. My hot side is now connected. There's the other manifold. Had to move that over. I made this merge myself. That's what it looks like. Closer. I lost count on what day it is. I think it's day 6. But I got this new power steering pump on with the high and close mount. Pushed on the pulley little tool. So the turbo, next step is getting this mounted. It's hard to see at the moment, but I'm going to make a connection. Where is it? It's hard to see, but that little circle down there in the center, that's a mount that you can buy. I think it's Mavern Performance. Really nice little mount. So anyways, I'm going to run a little tube from there across to this plate. I'm going to weld something to the plate on the back. It's steel. And then have it come out here. And I'll run the pipe straight into that for a brace. I think I'm going to come up here tomorrow morning if I can. And see if I can get that turbo mounted so I can move the forklifts and stuff. Also, I got my AC condenser in and I mounted that to the radiator. So that's all in there now. It came bent, but I just said screw it and put it in. It's kind of taco shaped.